This conference will now be recorded.
Before we begin, we must provide a disclaimer that the following information provided is not investment advice. Our methods, teachings, and content are for educational purposes only. All materials, lessons are protected of assets or market making strategies, LLC. Any plagiarism or sharing of our content is strictly prohibited, and any violators are subject to applicable laws. So, good morning, everyone. Today is November 21st, 2024, getting close to Thanksgiving. Sure, everybody's getting ready to spend time with the holidays with their family, enjoy some much needed rest and family time. But today is a trading day. And what do we have? We have a couple of interesting stocks. So, number one, and our first stock of the day is SPAI. Now, SPAI, just from the fact of what we saw yesterday, gives this a higher percentage trade because we are already aware of the story from yesterday and it's continuing on from that. As we know, yesterday it capped off at 350 where it built three times yesterday. In the open of market, when the volume came in, if you notice, it started its move off 350, the exact place where that build came in yesterday. What did 350 then garnish? What did 350 then achieve? A 650 price target. It moved $3. So when we keep that in mind, and now we know we've got buying at 650 six times, one, two, three, and then it had another three times here. And some of the prints were small, but some were large. Now, if 350 built three times and moved $3, this is building six times. So we know there's a good chance we could have even extended range. If we looked at the calculated move from six, we get to nine. But clearly we can see that this type of buying between 620, all the supporting short-term prints of build at 610, 67, 17, 615, and the six times 650, this is far larger than what we saw at 350. So although the calculated move would be 6 to 9, just remember that's so much build and 10 being above, naturally that will act as a magnet. So we know this now has the buying to get to a first target of 9 just based on the calculated move. But the reality is with the right volume, and right now we're seeing even on volume side, you're seeing that it's having tops of 500,000. It's trading, low shares of 119,000. This has about a 240, 250,000 average shares. This has a lot of volume. What do we want to see to really see all of this build come out of it? This is the type of trade you want to see it go above a million a minute. And in the million a minute, you do not want to see more build prints. If you start seeing 4 to 6 type prints that are large at 620, 650, that's a continuation of build. You want to see that they stop getting in the way and you're seeing short-term prints, maybe 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 print personality on the off levels, 612s, 617, 638s, and you want to see that coming within the high volume. That would be buying, or that would be for the money time move. So SPAI, the building we have here is more than enough to make its way towards 10, but let's keep 9 as our first target. As I said earlier on, I'd be looking, what would have been really nice is if it would have broke down to above 550. So basically below the area of build, that would have given us an entry back into the build area, but far away from where the market maker is acquiring his or her shares. So when we're looking at this now or towards the open, clearly it's starting to hold 6. So off 6 would be a move. Be careful with 650. That should absolutely not get in the way because they've done more than enough builds 6 times here in pre-market. If you see that come and get in the way and you start seeing more build prints, be very careful. So play defensive. Again, what would my perfect entry be here? Where it comes here, even as low as 575 would work. So a bit of a dip down here and then boom, come right back out. That would be what I'd be looking for as an entry into this stock. And remember, it has the buying to move. It has range. So don't start looking at early targets and having fear. Know the build. Know what they built for. That should alleviate your concerns on price targets. That's why we set the targets and we create the plans. Number 2, Nvidia. We know it had earnings yesterday. It beat top and bottom, had great guidance on their new chips, really spoke about AI. So with that being said, We don't need to talk more about what they said in the earnings because the prints are the ones that validate everything for us. Now, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, you name it, each level had extremely big buying. This is long-term buying. But given the interest, the excitement that we've already seen at every level and in between, this is going to be a heavily traded stock. And not only for those buying long-term, but this is going to be a really good a day trade as well, because when you've got everyone excited about a stock and playing it, and you know the range is going to be huge, especially just in pre-market, it went from 140 to nearly 150, to 149 and above. That's nearly a $10 move. So you know this is going to be trading on the higher range of its averages. So this is definitely going to be a trade. And you're already seeing, look at these 55s, look at these 69s. These are all short-term market makers who are going to play this massively today, knowing the amount of retail interest it's going to have, knowing the amount of buying it's going to have. And this is going to absolutely be a trade for today. Now, when you've got SPAI and NVIDIA, two very high percentage setups with the volume, with the range, with the buying, with the short term, with the off level, focus on these stocks. These are your high percentage setups. This is where you're seeing the market makers already planting their seeds and looking to make a trade. We are followers, so keep that in mind. Now, anybody who's looking at this long term, 145, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That is absolutely telling you they love this stock. Now, on that type of buying, we typically would hope and see a pullback to 140. We have buying all the way here, but I've not seen the type of selling that says pullback. So what would I be looking for here? Personally, I really like this 147.50. It's a $2 pullback from 149.50 and a 250 calculated move right back to 150 as a target. Will it come back to 147.50? That's not something we'll know till the open. With that being said, keep 148 on your mind. But it could easily make a move before we even get to the open. But this is 100% a stock that I absolutely will be trading into the open. And 150 being such a huge psychological number, I'd be very, very intrigued to see what happens there. We know that the chances are huge buying will occur at 150, but it will also possibly, if they decide that their building is done and they decide they want to build lower and they want to pull it below 150, I would be paying attention to that for a possibility of a short. But if you do not see the sell and they just continue buying and buying and buying, do not try to change the sentiment of the market makers. They are in control. Our job is simply to follow. Now, there was another one I saw was TRNR, but as you guys can see, completely and utterly died out. So unfortunately, not even worth keeping it on our list. I will say with NVIDIA, we always find IONQ will also have nice moves. We know it has buying at 30, so that definitely is something that will attract it towards it. So keep this in mind. And we also know that it typically trades when the market opens. If we just go quickly back to SPAI, look at this buying at 45. This is continuously building. Great volume. When we get closer towards the open, this is going to be your number one stock with NVIDIA. So these are the three stocks. I could go ahead and tell you about so many more. Look at Mara, look at this. But we've got two really high percentage setups and a third stock that with volume we know can have a great trade. So why do we want to dilute our attention and dilute our focus? Let's focus on the strong trades. If these do not work out, which I doubt they won't, then we start scanning and looking for stocks, but focus on the trade. As you can see already, SPAI is starting to make some more of its move. Volume is coming in. With that being said, as we say every morning, have patience, plan your trade, know your percentages, and plan what that looks like. What does that trade look like to get to your target? What is the volume? What are the factors that you want to consider? If you're a long-term or a short-term trader, you've seen all your buying, start looking for your pullbacks on that buying. So for instance, we had NVIDIA had buying 145 all the way up to 149. Typically, that requires a nice pullback. But if we do not see that type of pullback selling or positions, then it might continue building on up. With that being said, I will talk to you in the room and let's have a great morning and work together. Thank you.